toxic algal blooms persist in the Virgin River. St. George Police arrest 911 caller, and Santa Clara Ivins has a new police chief.
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Christy Langenheim. With temperatures on the rise in southern Utah, the safety of the Virgin River and other bodies of water across the state are being questioned due to potentially harmful algae blooms. We'll go to Maury Kessler with more on this story.
While the presence of algae blooms that can produce harmful bacterial toxins remain in the Virgin River to various degrees, it doesn't mean that the river is completely off limits to recreation. Hannah Bonner, the Recreational Water Quality Coordinator for the Utah Division of Water Quality, said people still need to exercise caution around water bodies with algal blooms, and that includes knowing how to identify signs of those blooms when they come across them. Once a person knows what to look for, Bonner says they have a better idea if a spot on the river is safe to play in or not.
And I really feel like that is the key, is if people know what to look for when it comes to these harmful algae mats, then they can make good recreational decisions. And particularly, if you know how to identify a mat, then before you, your kid, your dog goes to swim in something like the Virgin River, it's really easy just to take a few minutes to walk around, make sure you're not seeing any suspicious growth. If you're not seeing anything, then you can recreate with confidence and not have to be afraid. But if you do see something suspicious, then you can also be empowered to say, oh, okay, I'm going to go recreate somewhere else today.
The toxins produced by the algal mats can prove harmful to humans and small animals, particularly dogs, if ingested. Because of this, the Utah Division of Water Quality and the Southwest Utah Public Health Department advise against swimming or otherwise submerging oneself in the Virgin River or other water bodies where algal blooms have been reported.
We should definitely be aware of this and taking careful actions, but also it doesn't mean you could never play in the water.
Thanks, Maury. On Saturday, a dozen officers responded to a report of an armed robbery off River Road to learn it was a false report made by a 911 caller who needed a ride to Provo. After noticing some discrepancies in the caller's account, police looked into the prior police interactions with the complainant, where they found a report from 2022 involving the same 911 caller who reported a robbery that occurred at nearly the exact same location as the robbery currently being reported. The suspect was arrested and booked into jail in Washington County, facing a second-degree felony count of a false emergency report involving injury or death. Officer Jaron Studley will take the reins of the Santa Clara Ivins Police Department from Bob Flowers, who after 16 years is leaving the department to become the new chief of security for the Black Desert Resort. For more on this story, here's Chris Reed.
There was a changing of the guard at the Ivins City Council Thursday night. The council unanimously approved Jaron Studley to be the new chief of police for the combined Santa Clara Ivins Police Department. Studley became part of what was originally just an Ivins department in 2006 and advanced from officer to captain to sergeant to a detective and lieutenant as the department merged with Santa Clara's. But he admitted the moment was bittersweet as he has taken over for Bob Flowers, who is leaving after 16 years as chief to lead security for Black Desert Resort. And in one last gesture, Flowers received a standing ovation from the Ivins Council and the city's residents.
Thanks, Chris. From paper cranes to glass-encased roses, one woman is transforming simple paper folds into art and jewelry. Here's Jessie Bang with more on this talented artist.
What started as origami created out of boredom has since turned into a business for Hurricane resident Brianna Adams. She's turned paper cranes into wearable fashion such as necklaces and earrings and created car window hanging decor, jewelry holders, home decor, and more.
So the fun thing is they have different terms for the folds. So this is a mountain fold and that's a valley fold. And then this is a petal fold, I do believe.
Her available work can be purchased inside Trudy Spot in Hurricane.
Most of my cranes are really tiny. But there was this one time that I got curious to see how big of a crane I could make. And the answer was about 4 feet big.
Thanks, Jessie. Last Thursday, the Dove Center christened Christie Suites, a converted 19th century home, into transitional housing for the victims of domestic violence and sexual abuse. We'll go back to Chris Reed for more on this.
A place for victims to get back on their feet as they rise up from domestic violence and sexual abuse was dedicated under the sun of a Thursday morning and in the memory of Christy Manzanares. Christie Suites will serve as traditional housing for those served by the Dove Center. Unlike its emergency shelter, Christie Sweets is for those out of immediate danger, but still needing help to get back on their feet after being victimized by abuse. It is named in honor of Christy Manzanares, who was beaten to death by her husband during a July 2017 cruise. In just 4 months, a 2-story farmhouse dating back to the 1890s was converted from dilapidation into a place looking almost brand new. It was a labor of love for Carpet Plus owner Joe Gibbons, who was among those volunteering their time, paint, flooring, and the rest of what makes a place feel like home. At the Thursday ribbon cutting, Gibbons was overcome with emotion, remembering Manzanares, a former employee.
So she became just like family. And then to see what happened, this is my honor to be able to do this in memory of Christy.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Christy Langenheim with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5.